Welcome, beautiful people out there in YouTube land, the internet, around the world, in the space-time continuum, leaking into outer space and letting all the beautiful beings out there in our celestial, spatial kingdom know that we are here and we are doing fine. So once again, thank you guys for checking in on the Bad Wolf. Let's get going. All right, so I see we got some comments already started. All right. Let's see. From the Ozarks. All right, I got family down there. We got Hot Lana in the house. Winning strategies. It's always good to have winning strategies. Before you can get there, you had to have some non-winning ones to learn how to move. So that's fire. All right. D to the E to the 8. And Julie, what's going on? Thank you, and you to others what you do. I won today. Oh, yeah. Yes. When you know how to move and you know how to use the information, the tools presented here, yes, you will be successful. All right, let's give it up for Stank Fist. Pah! Becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I want to change my status and my sister send me over to Washington State. I'll change it to where I live. Well, once you know what your status is, it's already corrected in your mind. But if you want to take the birth certificate and get it authenticated, it has to go back to the state secretary from whence it came. Okay. Yep. Corrupted's got it right. Nope, you got it right. Yep. And you can always change it at any point in time. You can also always at any time challenge jurisdiction. Yeah. Child support is $2,500 ish. So they reduce that. IRS, they may, if you have a significant amount, I think it's more than 50,000. Case and a warrant. Yeah, usually it's supposed to be a federal one because the bench ones are not supposed to be held against you, but yeah, they might throw that in there too. Private says, looking good. Thank you. You got James. What's going on, good brother? Everybody here is family. I appreciate you guys. You guys literally support me more than a lot of my own real family. So like I said, I really appreciate that. Lady Pennington. Yes, I see you over there. I think she's one of my moderators. I think so, if I remember correctly. 55. What's good? Jen. Hey, what's going on, lady? Appreciate you. Long time. Nothing but love for you, little rabbit. Hello from Ohio. Hello. Maryland via Orlando. Compton. Hold on. That's the first one here. What's going up to the COMPTON? Nice. There you go, private. J-Main, what's good in the hood? Oh, it's all good. It's all good anywhere where there's a free mind. We can be in hell right now, but if you got a free mind, you are made free. The body is just a vessel. J, Moses in the house. Spread the waters, Moses. Hala, Aaron, Zeel. Elohim, the Elohim are in the house. You become what your thoughts are from day to day. Tyler, this is facts. Yeah. Eric, okay. Yeah. That's right. All right, what's going on, Eric? Good consultation. Appreciate you. Julie, thank you. We're all fam here. Corrupted. Hey, corrupted. I'm still learning. I don't have this all down. I've been doing this 30 plus years now, and I'm still learning. Let's see what else we got. We got Florida House, Island Rose, King. What up from the Wolf? What's going on? Anna's here. We got American. Yes. Blood is good, but when they say blood is thicker than water, aren't we all blood? I mean, literally, we all had to come from the same stock of DNA. We're just distant relatives. And who's got water for blood? So yeah, blood is thicker than water. Missouri. We got Sarah. Thank you for your videos. You guys are all welcome. Nebraska. If you have a driver's license and you're doing Uber, you have to have a license. That is commercial. You're using the roads for profit. Okay, wow. They're cheap down there. Sarah's in Michigan. I'm going to cover a couple more, and then I'm going to jump right into the video and the information. So real quick, thank you to, I wish this thing would automatically just, display them. If it does, I don't know where the option for that is. We got Daryl, Deshaun, Carissa, NLB, Tyler, JRD, what's going on? Sniper, the big homie, Lamborghini. All right. So I'm going to jump right into the info because we got a lot. Our private consult's still open. Yeah, they are. I will be tapering them a little bit because the holidays, and though I don't have a... My phone just started up by itself. All right. Pretty sure my house or my phone is haunted, but it's all good. At least it's Mozart, so that's awesome. But so consultations are still open. Very few during the holidays. I'm going to be not making a whole lot of videos for like the next 2 months. Sorry about that. There'll be 1 or 2 here and there. Don't worry, everything is good. Just taking time to relax, read some new stuff, and but oh yeah, watch for the new video that we got coming out on the passport stuff. Some people on the inside already know. And we're putting it into motion right now. So we shall have some stuff vetted for you guys coming up shortly. Big Calico says, is it too late to become a state citizen? No, you already are one. Good brother, you already are one. I don't care if someone's in prison, jail, the pen, whatever it is. If you were born here or naturalized here, or you're here more than 5 years living consistently on the land, you are a state citizen. Even if you were born in Washington, D.C., where you are actually born a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. By law, Code 8 U.S.C. 110122B, by their codes and laws, you are in fact also a state citizen and national. So, yep, once you know what's going on in your mind, boo, you are free. Wow. That's it. I will say this. If you're seeing this right now and you're about to do your passport process, if you can wait, give me 1 month so we can get some more information. But if you can't, get it. Get it. Just get it. If you can't wait, you got stuff going on, get it. Okay? But it will be fire info. So if you can wait. But if you can't, nope, go get it. Go get it. All right. So we're going to be jumping into this. I'm going to get my screen ready to share. All right. So hold on here. Oh, that's it. All right, give me 1 second here to find the right page. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I find the info. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Don't forget to check in. Let me know what republic you guys are hailing from. All right, so you know what? Let's just jump in. I'm just going to put you guys on the game here. All right. Let me know if anything gets a little jazzy with the feed. Sometimes it does when you share the screen. All right, so we're going to give credit out to the constitutionalcommando.com. All right. I believe the information is also available on their webs or YouTube or Facebook. You can look them up. So here they're just talking about there's a difference between the United States and the United States of America. Okay. Two different things. Union of the States, Federation of the States. Okay. Combining, working together in bed together as the United States of America or the US. Okay. Federal government, America, doing business as the state of America. Territorial government, British, doing business as the United States. Okay. There's different things going here. A municipal government. All right. Talking about how the de jure land, anytime you see de jure, that means the real. When you see the word land, that is us, the republic, whereas it should be the people, then the city, county, state, gov, United States, and all that going down to the tiny should be the territorial. But what have they done in their paperwork? De facto. I mean, that stuff is not in fact, though, fake or only non-real, only recognized within their own little world. What do you have here? All capitalized lettering represents the business trust, corporations. All right. Where they start off as the power and they dwindle it back to us. You know, it's interesting. If you overlaid these two, it actually would be a 6-point star. Interesting. All right. Now let me see if I can find the main page here. All right. So here, I'll bring this one up. So when people talk about there's no such thing as these other nationalities or a state citizen, this is from the United States Government Publishing Office, the GPO, where you can get a lot of information. Printed when? 2016, not that long ago. Geographic names. The spelling of geographic names must conform to the decisions of the U.S. board. Okay, so here you can go and check them out right there. GeoNames USGS.gov. Okay. Right here, nationalities. Boom. The table of demonyms in chapter 17. Okay. So if you're born in any one of these states, this is what your nationality name is, your state citizen identifier. Okay. And in Indiana, you're known as a Hoosier. That one I didn't know. I think I've heard that, the Hoosiers, before. In Hawaii, you just called a Hawaii resident. Okay, not very creative there, Hawaii. Wisconsin, you're a Wisconsinite. Texas, you're a Texan. Arkansas, you're Arkansan. I wonder how Kansas feels about that. Because Kansas is just a Kansan. So Arkansan and a Kansan. All right. I don't think you guys were working real hard here on the names. Oregon is Oregonian. So you get the idea. Okay. So let's jump over to the main page. So here, they got a little information. I was born a first-class citizen. I entered into contracts that, without my knowledge, made me a second-class citizen. I was surprised to find that the United States government recognized two distinct classes of citizen. Let's get going. Let's get in there deep like. Let alone that my citizenship status had changed. Yes. Capitis Maximus or Capitis Demusio Maximus, which means your name in all capitalized letters is a reduction or a loss of your rights when you use it. So it goes on. At first, I did not believe it. It wasn't until I learned how to use the law library in the county courthouse, from their own stuff, that I was able to confirm my status. I am not an attorney, so this article should not be considered legal advice. Okay? It may be used as the basis of your own research. This article does not have copyright, so you can copy all of it or part of it. Okay? So this is also on my blacksite32.com. Scroll down to the blog. I actually raised the blog up so you see it first. You can scroll left or right, and you will find this article in here. So if you want to copy and use it for your own, you have at it. Okay? So this article borrows research from other articles and papers without copyrights written by people across the nation. I will describe the big picture, then I will substantiate the claims made and give more detailed picture. So I'm letting you guys right now, this is going to be a longer live. It might almost be 3 hours, however long it takes to get through the whole article, because I'm going to bring it to you guys. And so go get your water, your popcorn and peanuts, grab your boo, your bae, whatever you got to do, because we finna go in there. Okay, so you may find ideas presented here to conflict with the model of the government that you have been taught. You may also find these ideas to be impossible to believe, and that this is understandable. The further and the more you read, the more you'll find out that there's ways to change, that they've changed these things and filter the information by what the GOV or other certain powers that be are doing. If you cannot believe any of this, please close your YouTube right now, because some of this stuff might hurt your feelings. Okay? Nothing here is illegal. It's all considered education, entertainment from your favorite non-belligerent, non-combatant, James C. Lovett, otherwise aka the Bad Wolf. So, all right. So let's get into it. All right. So the United States of America is a unique nation. It was first constitutional republic in the world. Before America's revolution, the King of England owned all the land in his colonies. The inhabitants of the colonies were his subjects. When the war was over, the king signed the Treaty of Peace. Okay, we talked about that. In that treaty, he said that all the land in the former colonies was owned by the people. I mean, we're not going to get into the fact that it did come here and kind of steal mostly from the Native Americans. That's for another time. So, all of his sovereign powers that was held in the colonies were transferred not to the government of the colonies, but to the people of the colonies. This made all the citizens of the colonies sovereigns, even though I don't like the word because they use it against us. Sovereign means your own king. You own your own land. You don't answer to anybody unless you've done damage. So this has never happened before or since in any other country. In other countries, a government is sovereign. It makes all the laws for its subjects and citizens, and it gives them their rights. In the United States, the people were sovereigns, still are. just not sovereign citizens. We don't use that. Which, by the way, if you see anybody using any of my materials, likeness, clips of my show, whatever else, in negative ways, using this slang word that is defamation of character and bullying and whatever else. So go ahead and use that button over there to report them. Thank you in advance. All right. So let's see. So the people were endowed by their creator with certain rights, and the government was instituted to secure those rights. They are supposed to protect our rights. So we, the people, gave a portion of our sovereignty to the state government, and the states gave a small portion of the sovereignty we gave to them to the federal government, okay, out of Washington, D.C. So that would be strong enough to defend the people. The Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution for, not of, I apologize. The Constitution for the United States of America describes the powers that the state gave to the federal government. If the federal government is defined by the Constitution and the Constitution says that I am sovereign, why do I feel like I am a subject? I own my house. If I don't pay my property taxes, the government will go to court and remove me from it, just as the courts would remove me from any apartment. If I did not pay rent, okay, you get the idea. I'm not going to go into all the stuff there. So there are hundreds of thousands of sovereigns in the United States of America. And according to this person's declaration, they are one of them. Okay, they own their own land in allodium or allodial title. The patent, this is where Ron Gibson comes in at. He discovered this information and he has used it. And he has won. He has not backed away from one case. Okay. That is, the government does not have a financial interest. They didn't give you any money. They didn't put any money in the land when you bought it. So because of this, they do not need to pay property taxes, school taxes, real estate taxes. Only the powers granted to the federal government in the Constitution for the United States of America define the law that they have to follow. This is a very small subset of laws most of us have to follow. Unless they accept benefits from our contract with the federal government, they do not have to pay Social Security tax, federal income tax, or residential individual state income tax. They do not need to register their cars or get driver's license unless they drive commercially. They can they can own any kind of gun without a license or permit. They do not have to use the same court system that the U.S. federal citizen does. I'm sure that most people reading or watching this will say to themselves, this cannot be true. I know I did the first time I heard it. Now, a lot of people think that, I'm going to leave it here right here, and I'm going to jump back into the comments a little bit. Like I said, don't feel bad if I don't get to you. Yeah, this is mostly going to be about me reading stuff and provide you guys with the information. All right. Thank you, Crypto Frontier. I'm going to put you up on there. Dream Killer says property taxes are illegal. Well, you have to understand, if you registered your property and you didn't know any better, it's just good business to them. We know what it is. But on paper, by law, it's not illegal if you're happy paying them and you register it of your own free will and accord. But all right. So Miss Pennington, thank you for the $10. All right. We're going to jump right back into it. Let me get to my screen. Where'd my screen go? All right. So the government recognizes two distinct classes of citizens: a state citizen, which is now known as either a non-citizen U.S. national, a foreign national by police officers, or a U.S. Well, no, we don't use U.S. national. National of the United States. Now, what they've been doing is they've been mixing these statuses all together to now call it a citizen of the United States. So you have to pick out which one you are. And if it's the first option, citizen of the United States A, okay, or citizen of the United States 1. All right. So like what you guys are doing out there, you guys are getting clever. I like it. So a state citizen, also called a de jure citizen, is an individual, which when used here means a living person. Once again, individual can mean business, citizen, federal citizen, all that kind of stuff, corporate, trust, whatever. Okay, whose inalienable natural rights are recognized, secured, and protected by his or her state constitution against state actions and against federal intrusion by the Constitution for the United States of America. A federal citizen is also called a 14th Amendment citizen. It's also known as a citizen of the United States. Look, I didn't even read all of this. I'm just going by the information, and right there, just proved it. Bang. And a U.S. citizen, also known as a citizen of the District of Columbia, has civil rights that are amongst equal to the natural rights that a state citizen have. I say almost because civil rights are created by Congress and can be taken away by Congress. Federal citizens are subject to Congress under their protection as a resident of a state. That's why they want you to claim that you reside there. Reside, to be in, to reside. So where was I before? You're residing. Okay, if I get my house resided, it had siding before. Now I've left somewhere and I'm going back to somewhere, or going to somewhere new. Something new has been put there. So a resident of a state, a person enfranchised or turned into a corporation or a business trust, public trustee to the federal government, the incorporated United States, defined in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution. Go look it up. Supreme Court already ruled that the United States, meaning the corporation, is in fact foreign to the United States of America. Okay? The individual states may not deny that these persons federal privileges or immunities that Congress has granted them. Actually, God granted us them, but they are there to make sure that we are not infringed upon. So this specific class of citizen is a federal citizen under admiralty or maritime or international law. As such, they do not have inalienable common rights recognized, secured, and protected by the Constitution of the states or the Constitution for the United States of America, such as allodial or absolute rights to property, the rights to inheritance, which is why you should get your stuff in public trusts or private trust, take it out of the public trust, put it into the private trust, the rights to work and contract, unlimited and in the private, and the right to travel, among others. So there's lots of things you guys can do. We're only covering a bit of them. Okay? A federal citizen is taxable. It's a taxable entity. It's a corporation and is subject to pay these things unless you file initially under the right status. Because remember, you have standing. You're a living man or woman on the land. Entities have status. What is the status of that thing laying there? I don't know. Let's check it out. Okay. So the rights that most people believe they have are not natural rights, but civil rights. Did you catch that? Which are actually privileges granted by Congress. Some of these civil rights parallel the protections of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. But by researching the Civil Rights Act along with case law decisions involving those rights, it can be shown that these so-called civil rights do not include the 9th or 10th. Did you catch that? And have only limited applications with regard to the amendments 1 through 8. So they were mimicked. A copy was made, removing the 9th and 10th. These 8 are subject to their interpretations. 2 different things running parallel. Okay, this is where the confusion comes in at. If you accept any benefit from the federal government or claim any civil right, you are making an adhesion contract with the government. You may not have been aware of this adhesion contract, but the courts are. The other aspect of such contract is that you will obey every statute that Congress passes, which are usually mandates, okay, things of that nature. State citizens cannot be subject to any jurisdiction of law outside of the common law without their knowledge and willing consent. You cannot be defrauded. It voids the contract or agreement. You have to have consent, full disclosure of the terms and conditions, and such consent must be under agreement, contract, and sealed by your autograph. This is because the Constitution is a compact contract created and existing in the jurisdiction of common law. Therefore, any rights secured under them or disabilities limiting the powers of the GOV also exist in the common law and in no other jurisdiction provided for that agreement. Federal citizens are presumed to be operating in the jurisdiction of commercial law because that is the jurisdiction of their creator, Congress. This is evidenced by the existence of various contracts and the use of negotiable instruments. All products of international law or commercial law, UCC, under common law, your intent is important. In the court of contract commercial law, the only thing that matters is that you live up to the letter of the contract, because you have adhesion contracts with Congress. You cannot use the Constitution or the Bill of Rights as a defense because it is irrelevant to that particular contract and in their jurisdiction. As stated previously, the contract says you will obey every statute passed by Congress. A federal citizen does not have access to common law. You cannot enjoy their benefits and then complain while enjoying their benefits that you don't want the negative side of said contract. Are you with me? Good people, good people. Okay, I'm going to jump into the comments. We got, I'm going to kind of go quick here, so don't take it personal. Frank, Larry, JRD. They won't let me find without an ID. I don't know. You must have been talking to somebody else. I didn't catch that part. Sorry. Andrea, Lady, Larry's in Mexico. We got a new member. All right. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the video because we have a lot of information to go over to wake your minds. A lot. Okay. Get down there. Okay, covered that. So I'm gonna surmise this next section. So the Constitution empowers the federal government too. So everything that we have going on. All right, here, let me stop sharing for a moment. Everything we've got going that they've done to us, we've done. And a lot of people want to say, oh, it's fraud. It's fraud. Here's what happened. Your parents didn't do their research when they entered into these initial contracts. Sorry, truth. Tear gone. Sad no more. My parents did it. Yours did it. Heck, I haven't started my son into it before I realized all of this. I was still learning. They have permission to do what they're doing as long as you agree. Your parents brought the information to you because they didn't do their own due diligence. We then took it over, adopted it, and we didn't check ourselves. We just said, well, everybody else does it. Well, if everyone's jumping off of it, you get the idea. So it becomes fraud when you know what's going on. It becomes fraud when you want to stop being these things, stop receiving their benefits, and they won't let you, or they deny you your right to travel. That's when it becomes fraud, and that's when it becomes deprivation of rights, 1983 under 241 and 242, which are suable offenses. If you truly operate as a foreign national, you inform an officer who's a LEO, a legal enforcement officer, and they deny you, and you're not driving because you've given them back their stuff and your right to travel, that's when it becomes fraud. That's when they waive their state immunity, because you've told them who and what you are. You've got the passport done. You know the information from the Constitution. You're not using their benefits. You cannot use their stuff and then tell them they can't do nothing to you while you have their stuff. I read the Supreme Court just, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, where they said they will not help you if you are using their stuff and you want to cry wolf. See what I did there? All right, let's get back to the video. All right, I guess really it's a website, so, but you get the idea. Share. So if you have a Social Security number without having corrected it with the SS5 process, okay, you are not a state citizen if you have not corrected that. Why? Because Social Security numbers are a block of numbers set up for U.S. citizens who are taxpayers. Those are corporations. Right here, boom. If you're using a zip code, okay. A lot of these so-called gurus out here are like, well, I'm completely out of the system and you guys suck. That's why I'm not a guru. All right. I can always change my mind. I can always find new ways. What does it say here? If you're using the Federal Reserve notes without protest, and what do they ask you for, these gurus? Federal Reserve notes. Send me some credit. Now, if they say you can only send me gold, silver, and lawful money, all right, my hat goes off to you. But if you're using, once again, these are all private things that they're providing. Yeah, I know it sucks, but I'm just bringing you the truth. Sorry if you get your butt hurt on it. Now, here's something I want to read because I've been trying to figure this part out myself, and let's go. So let's see what they got to say here. So the Pennsylvania Commonwealth is one of the several states described in the Constitution. The several states were severed from each other. The law treats the several states as independent countries. I've been saying this since day one. Booyah. The Buck Act in 1940, boom, created federal areas inside the states. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. Federal areas inside the states. When you use the zip code, you become a ward, meaning one of their lackeys of that area. It is a slave plantation on paper. You become the head slave in that area. You are a ward to that district. If you live in one of these federal areas, meaning on the paper, you are subject to federal territories, laws, municipal codes of D.C., etc. The IRS, okay? The Pennsylvania Commonwealth is not a part of the District of Columbia, okay? So listen to here, what we have here. Let's pay attention. The Pennsylvania Commonwealth. Remember I told you guys they reverse things? You've got the certificate of live, keyword live, then birth. Now let's flip the words. Birth certificate. They can't use the word live because they didn't birth you. They birthed the vessel, the all caps name. That is a vessel. It's called your nom de guerre in Latin, meaning your war name. It is your public transmitting utility in their language. It is your mask, your wolf mask that they gave you to operate in their territory on paper. It's a paper jurisdiction. It's an overlay. If I own the bed and you put your blanket on top of my bed, I still own the bed. The bed is the United States of America. The cover that you threw on there is the U.S. 14th Amendment jurisdiction. Woof. Okay. So here, the word Pennsylvania comes first, then the word Commonwealth. Pennsylvania Commonwealth is not a part of D.C., but Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You see what happened there? Pennsylvania Commonwealth. Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, showing a jurisdictional difference because those are not the same entities. When you write a letter, do you put state of after your city on the bottom? Go ahead. I'll wait. No, you don't. What do? Madison, Washington, and then comma. Oh, then you put in the zip code. You've raised your ownership from the bed to playing into their jurisdiction on the cover as a ward of that federal plot, which is a corporation operated on paper. Doesn't mean they don't have power. I'm not taking that away from them. They definitely have power. It's very real. By the way, favorite non-belligerent, non-combatant treaty with the United States. Neutral party. But the difference is in the wording, in the capitalization. So here, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth is not part of the District of Columbia, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is. PA is the name that the post office recognizes for mail sent into the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which is a federal area. PA, PENNA, and Pennsylvania are names that the post office uses for mail sent into Pennsylvania Commonwealth, which is not a federal area. Get it? Good. If someone living in Pennsylvania accepts mail sent to PA, they are saying that they live in part of the District of Columbia, an extension, one of the several territories. You've seen them mention that. Your zip code determines the region of the same federal areas. The IRS adopted this. Okay. All right, we talked about that. Okay. If every citizen in these colonies became sovereign, okay, how could any citizen lose their sovereignty? The citizens of each of the several states in the Union were sovereigns, but the people in a territory or the District of Columbia were not, because the territorial overlay and the District of Columbia, which is a very real piece of land they operate from, which we gave them the ability to do that. We gave them, well, we seceded the land, but they paid for it. So we can't say we gave it to them. We paid that. They gave us money for it, so they bought it. Okay. Were not because of the territories in the District of Columbia were not in the Union. Congress had and has exclusive legislative control over these areas. The states were governed by a constitutional republic, while the territories were ruled by a legislative democracy. In a legislative democracy, the citizens have no rights except what Congress gives them. In the constitutional republics, the citizens have rights given to them by their creator, and Congress is the citizen's servant. This is why citizens having left a state to buy or conquer land from the Native Americans would apply for statehood as soon as possible. So How is it that someone who was born in and has lived in a state all their life be treated like a citizen of the District of Columbia? There has been a series of steps that Congress has made to convert the state citizen into a federal citizen. Over the years, our laws have been made unreadable by the average intelligent person. The 14th Amendment was illegally passed, creating a federal citizen. I did a video on that one already, who cannot question the federal debt. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 turned over our money into a private bank. Okay. Social Security created Social Security districts or territories in which people with SSNs or Social Security numbers lived. The Buck Act created federal areas inside the states. So we're going to go into that a little bit more in detail. Okay, just talking about the IRS. We already know what that is. I'm not going to bore you to tears with that. But we'll go into, okay, so when you see these right here, you're talking about cases, federal and Supreme Court cases that back up this information. These are excerpts from those decisions. And what does it say? People of a state are entitled to all rights which formerly belonged to the king by his, what is that, prerogative. Lansing versus Smith, 21D89. Like I said, I'm not going to cover every single nook and cranny because you guys can go to my site, blacksite32.com, scroll down to the blog, scroll to where it says, I think I have this one titled as state citizen versus U.S. citizen. I mean, everything there is a good read, so you're not going to be wasting your time. So go there, and if you want to read this for yourself, you can find it. Otherwise, you guys can go to the website here. All right. At the Revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country. But they are sovereigns without subjects and have none to govern but themselves. So that's why I tell you guys, self-govern. That's where it comes from, right here. You can't have subjects, but you are kings and queens and whatever else of yourself. The citizens of America are equal to fellow citizens and as joint tenants in the sovereignty. Chris Holmes versus Georgia. As a general rule, men have natural right to do anything which their inclination may suggest, if it be not evil in itself and in no way impairs the rights of others. Newman, 1925. Boom. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, yeah, I see some goodies. I was going to skip it, but no. Let's go in, mine. Let's check it out. So the United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state. So if you created your own nation, that's a state. Your state of is a state. The republic is a state. So it says they are a foreign corporation with respect to a state. In 1818, the Supreme Court stated that keyword, remember I told you guys to be careful of those words, in the United States of America, there are two separate and distinct jurisdictions, such being the jurisdiction of the states within, what does it say? The states. So a state is the status of a thing. If you create your micronation or whatever it is, that is a state of existence. So states within their own state boundaries. So what does it really say? Should be a comma here. States within their own. In. So a something that exists that is doing something within itself. And then it should be a comma here and then say state boundaries. So a state operating within another state. and the other being federal jurisdiction, United States, which is limited to the District of Columbia, the U.S. territories, federal enclaves. Enclaves is another word to say business, place, activities, locations within the states. Under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Woo, fire. Okay. The origin of the federal citizen. Okay. So we know that comes from the third described in the 13th and 14th Amendments back in 1865. All right. I'm not going to go through all of it, but you guys know what it is by now. So the courts presume you to be a federal citizen without even telling you that there are different statuses and classes. It's up to you to dispute this if the situation fits. Unless the defendant can prove he is not. Here's also where you have to pay attention. Unless the defendant can prove they are not a citizen of the United States. So you have to have proof. Where's your proof? Well, if you've been watching my videos, you know there's some tools there. Your own affidavits, My E-Verify, your passport, and a number of other things. If you can prove that you are not, then guess what it says here? The IRS has the right to inquire and determine tax liability. So if you can't prove that you're not one, there you get to say that you are, and you are taxable. 1982, not that long ago. At least it doesn't seem like it's that long ago. For some of you guys, it's probably ancient. So in 1866, Congress passed the first Civil Rights Acts, which only applied to the District of Columbia and its other federal territories. How do we know to find a federal territory? 2-digit abbreviation, zip code, your driver's license. Why do you think you can go into a federal building with it for ID? Because you're a federal employee. It's a federal territory. Right? Okay, good. You guys are way better than the last class. There are many reasons why I do not like the 14th Amendment. The first is that it was never ratified. Okay? I'm not going to go into all that right now. I made another video specifically on that one, so check that one out. You will be amazed. Now, if you talk to a traditional lawyer or whoever else, they're probably not licensed, but we'll leave that one alone for now. And a bar card is not a license. It's actually a membership, but we'll leave that alone for right now. They might have a problem with these amendments right here because it prevents them from ever going into a public office or from running for president. But they can do it because some changes were made at most precarious times. Mysteriously, a war broke out and fires, and all the original drafts were removed and deleted, except for a couple states out there who still have theirs and in their libraries and know what's really going on. But anyway, so they'll argue up and down that, oh, the way it is now is the way it's always been, and it's legit. Depends on your perspective and understanding of history. But I digress. If you research the terms resident and legal residence, you'll find that it is the nexus that binds us and all of the state and federal enforcement of commercial law statutes today. Resident is short for resident alien and is used in state statutes to mean someone who exhibits actual presence in an area belonging to one nation while retaining a domicile citizenship status within another foreign nation. The term legal residence further indicates that these two terms may be applied either to a geographical jurisdiction or a political jurisdiction? Well, we in the private are the geographical jurisdiction. The public, on paper, the corporation, is a political jurisdiction. An individual may reside in one or the other or in both at the same time. In California, Government Code Section 126 set forth the essential elements of a compact between this state and the federal government, allowing reciprocal taxation of certain entities and provide for a concurrent jurisdiction within geographical boundaries. I mean, if you don't claim yourself properly, they can tax you anywhere. Both state citizens and federal citizens are American. U.S. citizens are domiciled in the District of Columbia, because usually in the word federal citizens, they're incorporating that private side with the public. So they can't say that you don't have a private side or that you're exclusive and just a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, because they're mixing it. When they mix it, you can't say, because there's some crap in the cake, that the cake is all good or all bad. I would say it's all bad, but it is what it is. So, U.S. citizens are domiciled in the District of Columbia and are privileged aliens, but to that state wherein they reside, and the state citizens are domiciled in a state and are not alien in their state. They also do not reside in their state, which is one of the reasons why I closed all my stuff and told them I am no longer a resident of said state. They are citizens of that state. State citizens, in fact. The distinction may seem insignificant to you, but it is not to the court. It is not to the federal district. A state citizen has the right to travel in each of the 50 states. He or she can file papers at any county courthouse in any state and become a citizen of that state, which is why we send out our affidavits. People are slacking out there. Did you send it to the chief of police? Did you send it to the head sheriff? Did you send it to the secretary of state? Send it to the governor? Did you send it to the Supreme Court? Did you send it to the federal court? Did you send it to the... Most of the federal statute laws do not apply to the citizen of a state. If the authority for the statute can be found in the organic constitution, organic, geographical, for the United States of America, then the statute is of a national character as it applies to both state citizens and aliens. Okay? All right, so we're not going to go through all of these. Okay. The right of trial by jury. This is why they want you to plead. They don't want you to take it to jury. I can't give you advice. All I can say is that put it in the hands of the people. This has been guaranteed to you by the 7th Amendment and the right to bear arms. Well, here's what I'm looking at. We have the right to bear arms. That means any form of weapon, as long as it's not something of, major, danger to everybody. Do I believe everybody should have them? No. There's lots of people who shouldn't have them. But do you have the right to get them in most cases? Yeah. But what's interesting here is that it doesn't say firearms. Interesting. Maybe those are two separate things. So this is guaranteed by the 2nd Amendment. All right. And they cannot be abridged. You can't bridge over my rights, my freedoms. The privileges and immunities, meaning your civil rights of the 14th Amendment, and its citizens, were derived and taken from the Constitution for the United States of America, but are not identical to those referred to in Article 4, Section 2 of the Constitution, which recognizes the existence of state citizens who were not citizens of the United States, because there was no such animal in 1787. So they've been trying to push these little things in to make it look like it's all the same. We're all one happy family, except for whose hand is that down my pants? Who's trying to put a gag over my mouth? You get the idea. Creepy uncle. So plainly spoken, rights considered to be grants from our Creator are clearly different from the civil rights that were granted by Congress to its own brand of franchised corporate citizens of the 14th Amendment. So you guys have to understand, a lot of the low-level functionaries out there do not know this information. When they ask their superiors about this, unless they ask them and say, hey, can I speak to you privately about something? They're not going to tell them. And even still yet, they may not tell them because the bosses over them don't want them to know. So this is how state citizens were converted into federal citizens. In order for the federal government to tax a citizen of one or more of the several states, they usually refer to us as citizens of the several states. This is how they hide our status as state citizens, where we come from. Literally, they're standing on our land and trying to not give us our credit that's due. They refer to us as a citizen of the several states. You guys have to learn these things. You have to know these things. It had to create some sort of contractual nexus. This contractual nexus was the Social Security number. Excuse me. SS5. In 1935, the federal government instituted Social Security. Okay. The Social Security Board then created the 10 Social Security districts. All right. I'm not going to go through all that and bore you to tears. But here in their section, the term state. Now, when you see the word state, you have to understand that you have to look at the. Yes, I'm doing my live right now. Roy. So the word state is not the same across everywhere you read it. You have to know who's saying it and then interpret to understand what they mean. Because you can't say the state when used here means the same thing as over here. The term national, for instance, we might say we're a national. But what do you think people who are in Washington, D.C. call themselves when they're born there? Nationals of D.C. Or amongst themselves, just nationals. They're also known as Washingtonians, I believe. And there's another term for them as, U.S. nationals, I believe, is what they're being referred to now with the IRS, if my information is still accurate and up to date. So you have to do your research and know who you're dealing with, what is their definition of these things, because it might not be what you think. I even made that mistake a couple times. I'm like, well, if state means this and this and that, isn't that not the same thing? Nope. Which agency are you dealing with? Who are they under? And how are they using it? Okay. I'm not going to go into all the tax stuff. Basically, through here, they're talking about how you're supposed to be able to enjoy your freedoms without having to have a Social Security, a driver's license, a zip code, all in order to open up a bank account, this and that. Use of the zip code is voluntary. See Domestic Mail Regulations section 122.32. Okay, there it is. The fictional states are identified with the 2-letter abbreviation. All capitalized letters. So if you want to bypass this, use the first letter capitalized and the second one lower. Or put in 4 letters. If you have to use the zip, you put a box around it. Or put it in brackets. You can put without the US behind it. Or you can put USA behind it. Okay, we got common law versus commercial. I could literally see. Let me see where we're at for time. Okay, we're an hour in. All right. Somebody said, what document is this? You can get a copy of this on Black Site 32. Scroll down to the blog. And then click on, like I said, U.S. citizen versus state citizen. And you can copy that. You have freedom to use it. There's no copyright on it. Yes, the box around the zip is in reference to the 4 corners rule. Yep. All right. So I'm going to jump back into the video. Okay. So I'm going to skip the part here, common law versus commercial for the most. Well, I'll go to it a little bit. I don't want to go through every single thing here because we covered a lot of this in other videos. But besides municipal laws for federal territories like the District of Columbia, the Constitution specifies 3 other laws: common law, equity, and admiralty. If you start doing a research on these right here, you will have a lot of tools. This is why we win in court. This is why I have personally won in court. This is why they don't like to see me coming. Common law is criminal law. Equity law deals with written contracts and is civil law. Admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, which is what they primarily use, deals with international contracts. And has both criminal and civil penalties. If you want to know what they're doing and how to move, I made some videos on this. Look up what admiralty maritime law is. You'll understand everything you need to know right there. Well, not everything, but you'll be up to par. You can also check out my videos on it. I made videos on them. Go to YouTube, James C. Lovett, or at The Bad Wolf on YouTube, and then look up my videos. Here they're talking about colorable. Colorable is prima facie. I mean, something that appears to be genuine, but is not. Okay. We've talked about a lot of this using the UCC codes. Discharged without prejudice. This is an old code right here. Should be UCC 1-308. Okay, so here in corpus juris secundum. Okay, corpus is Latin for body, juris is jurisdiction, secundum, I believe, is second. Complete restatement of the entire American law, volume 7, section 4 states, an attorney occupies dual position which imposes dual obligations. His first duty is to the courts. They put the courts first. And the public, not to the client. And wherever the duties to his client conflict with those he owes as an officer of the court in the administration of justice, the former yield to the latter. So they will always look at the courts and their fellow officer before the client. Clients are also called wards of the court. A ward meaning a child, somebody who's in a ward. You're in something. The word of what? Of the court. You are of it. You are in it. You are of it. The 5th edition of Black Law's Dictionary states that a ward of the court is a person of unsound mind. Whoo! What does it say? A ward of the court is a person of unsound mind. That's why, yeah, I made a video on it. I won't go into it now. Here's also something none of this is legal advice. I told you guys, if you can, I would take your things to court. And I would say, allow yourself to be, if you have no choice, have a jury trial. And all I'm going to do is read these words, and you need to do your own research on it. Educational information only. The jury can nullify a law. That's all I'm going to say. Do your own due diligence. All right. So if you are a state citizen and you take presumptions of not making it easy for the federal government to make presumptions that you are involved in an international contract, such as the Federal Reserve notes, then you will not be able to be charged with said offenses. You will be able to do nothing you wish, so long as you do not use force or fraud and you live within the consequences of your actions. That's all I'm going to say. More federal glue. So you may also find it disturbing to know how an administrative procedure can remove your children from you. Okay. We talked about, because why? It says right here, by registering your children, which is voluntary, they become federal children. Okay. We've talked about this. Like I said, if you want to read the full article, you want to get the spot size, I'm skipping over, not for any major reasons, just time wise. And, you can go to blacksite32.com, scroll down to the blog, and state citizen versus U.S. citizen, and read it all in full for yourself. As always, do your own due diligence. I'm just a madman in a box. All right. So this goes through that what happens after they take the name and it is transmuted. You can look at the Palms manual for the Social Security Administration. They tell you, they transmute the name. They change it from the lowercase capitis minimus to capitis diminutio maximus, and you become property. Here's a very powerful piece of information. The child becomes an asset of the trust, and the state becomes the principal beneficiary because you're in your minor account. That's why we do things like the age of the majority, put out our affidavits. We're rebutting these things. See, the Uniform Trustees Power Act, ORS 128.005, Section 1, if the beneficiary does not believe the trustee is managing the assets of the trust optimally, the beneficiary can go through an administrative procedure to change the trustees. Long story short, educational information only. This is why certain people have their children removed, because they're saying you're not doing a good job as a trustee, because you've reduced your rights. You're in a different position than what you think you are. It's another reason why we authenticate the birth certificates. Also for the passport process. Optional only. Some of this information is not for everybody to use if they don't see it as being credible, or it doesn't suit their position, or they just don't want to. You never have to do everything that I talk about or anybody talks about. Always vet your information. You have to be able to stand on it, and if so challenged, defend that information. This is why I see it this way. This is why I know this to be this. What's going on, guys? I see you guys in the chat box. I'm almost going to wrap up the last part of these sections, and then I'll jump in there and be a little bit more social. So don't think, well, I don't care. I just can't see it right now because my screen is just, the screen. I don't see this comment section. All right. And here, what do they talk about? A revocation of signature and power of attorney. Who's messaging me while I'm on live? All right. Okay, so nothing I haven't told you guys before. When they communicate with you, they're talking to the corporation. You are acting as a surety because you don't know any better. You are responsible for it fully, financially and physically, because you haven't made the distinction. A corporation is created by a government. It has no rights. It has only privileges that have been extended to it that you may use. Now here, okay, I'm going to break down what they have listed. Instead of traveling in your car, you are driving or operating your motor vehicle in traffic. And you do not have guests in your car, you have passengers. Instead of a nativity, you have a date of birth. So nativity means when you are naturally born. Date of birth is for the birth of a vessel. You are not a worker. Well, I disagree here. I think they're wrong here. You are working and you have labor. You are not an employee. An employee is to be employed by an employer, and those are their words, so they're wrong here. So this is a mistake. They made a mistake here. You do not own your house, but a piece of real estate. Okay, so that part's true. You are listed as a tenant on your documents. You have private property. Okay. The District of Columbia has not been admitted into the Union. You can look it up. They've been trying to break down that door for some time. According to what I've been told, it will give them a seat. And then there's the voting things. And then they're still going to have DC, but there would be sections that would be of the new state. And certain places there would not be. So they would be playing both sides. You can look it up. Is DC they've been trying to get on the ballot for some time. They will get there if people don't know what's going on. Therefore, the people of DC are not protected by the Second Amendment or part of the Bill of Rights, despite the lack of legal guns in DC. Crime is rampant. All right, so once again, this is not my say-so, but I will read you what this particular person has listed here. This is their perspective. If you are a federal citizen and you are using the Second Amendment to argue arguments to protect your rights and keep your guns, that person believes that you are in for a surprise. First, by registering gun owners, then renaming guns assault weapons and handguns. Those in power will take away your civil rights to bear arms. Of course, they won't tell you that the right to keep and bear arms is a civil right and not a natural right for a U.S. citizen. The Supreme Court has ruled that you as an individual have no right to protection by the police. This is true. Here's a book they wish I didn't have. Police Misconduct, a very expensive book. National Lawyers Guild. This is why your boy here, the Wolf, is good at what he does and in the courts. It's also why they don't want to see me in there. I have their stuff. You know what it says in here? Police officers have no legal right to protect you. To serve and protect. Who are they serving and protecting if their own books and the law says that they have no obligation to protect me? Go ahead, I'll wait. Their obligation is to protect society. Well, what is society? Should probably look that word up. The real protection for the state citizen to keep their guns is not the Second Amendment, but the 9th. Check it out, y'all. Note, in Switzerland, every household must have by law a fully automatic machine gun and ammunition. The crime rate there is very, very low. Now, one of the things I will say, not to be on their side, is that unfortunately, because they've taken away so many things from us under the guise of these statutes, codes, rules, and regulations, that the average person out there doesn't know how to respect certain things. I was over in Germany. They show full everything, the full money, we'll just say, for selling orange juice during the daytime. Other places I went, people all walking around with that thing on them, the blick blick, the equalizer, they'll make a body run cold, the heater, the chitty chitty bang bang, that which has no name. So many people aren't used to having them. So many people are on pills. So many people are bombarded on Facebook and social media platforms that have a short attention span. They can't self-govern, but that's okay. They got something for you. Call either another pill or be locked up. And that seems to make a whole lot of people money, but you. But I digress. These are just my thoughts as a crazy wolf running in the wild. Or a wild wolf running. Something like that. A state citizen has the right to travel on the public easements. Police officers don't own the roads. They're a corporation that monitors and governs over the 14th Amendment U.S. citizens as identified by having the proper plates and driver's license. We have the right to do these things without being registered. The Supreme Court has already ruled on there. And what? The Supreme Court and the federal courts recognize this. Every state gave up a percentage of its power to be underneath them. So that means they cannot be completely sovereign. When they decided to allow their streets, these streets that our tax dollars paid for, which makes them public, to be public, that means anybody in the world can use them. Nowhere does it say you only have to have these certain things to do this. They tell you if you are a U.S. citizen and you want to drive, then you need a driver's license. The devil's in the detail. Just like on Bugs Bunny. When they come out with those little scrolls. Bugs Bunny and those creators were trying to tell us something as kids. They knew what was coming. They knew what it was. My hat goes off to you guys. They will always try to inform you, warn you, or whatever in movies and in videos before it happens, if you guys haven't noticed. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just I'm seeing stuff. I don't know. Okay. Federal citizen does not have these privileges. It is a privilege for a foreigner to travel in any of the several states. If you are a U.S. citizen, you are a foreigner in the state. Once again, it's a mind play. From their perspective in their maritime admiralty jurisdiction, we're foreigners, and they're the home state. In the real world, on land, not on paper, the real world, we're domestic and they're the foreigners. This is why it's hard to interpret what they're saying, because people don't understand jurisdiction. All right. The state legislators can require foreigners to have people involved in commerce, such as chauffeurs, freight haulers, Uber drivers, etc., to be licensed and insured. When you accept the all caps name, you're telling them that you're foreign to your domestic republic. So they have to have their vehicles registered. You are looked at as a public trustee, a public officer, potentially even a bar member. When you register your cars, you turn over a percentage of your power of attorney to the state. At that point, it becomes a motor vehicle. If it is not registered, then it is not a motor vehicle. They can't say you have an unregistered motor vehicle. That's called being private. You have that right. But if you have a driver's license and you have a vehicle and you're trying to operate and you got those contracts, then yes, they can say you have an unregistered motor vehicle, because they're saying you are a citizen and you need to register it. And there are no motor vehicle statutes to break. There are common law rules of the road. If you do not cause an injury to anybody, then you cannot be tried. But they will try you because you got their contracts. That's also why they don't want it to go to trial. They'll even say to you, and don't think these people can't lie to you. Cops, judges, lawyers, all of them are allowed to lie. They're allowed to lie. Have you seen any of them swearing, saying anything that they will not lie and that they will provide facts only? Or that they will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America? Maybe you should look into their oaths of office and stuff. All right. So anyway, if your car is registered, the state effectively owns your car. I mean, not lock, stock, and barrel, so I will disagree there, but they are a investor with it. A silent investor who has put nothing into it, but you gave them a say-so in your matters, just like your marriage, just like whatever else. The state supplies a sticker to put on your license that you paid for. Every time you register the motor vehicle, look closely at the sticker on your plate right now. You may be surprised at it to say that it says official use only. Office, official, all caps. Note, in some states, they do not use stickers on the plates. You may have seen municipal vehicles that have signs on them that say official use only on them, but otherwise does yours. You do not own the full rights to your car. You may have a certificate of title, but you probably do not have the original certificate of origin, the MSO or the MCO. You are technically in a leasing contract with the vehicle and paying yearly registration fees. Because as far as they're concerned, you're using their equipment or that they co-own. If you break the rules, such as drive without a seatbelt and whatever else, there's going to be a penalty. As I told you guys way back when, you should have a travel binder with all of your information with this stuff available. What does he say? They should carry copies of affidavits and other paperwork in their car. The state citizen should be prepared to go to traffic court and explain it to the judge. Okay, you are a patriot by knowing this information. The people who do their research on the state citizenships call themselves patriots. This may sound strange to those people who equate patriotism with the support for whatever government does as long as the flags are waving. Well, we know about the flags. It's got the gold fringes. You know it's theirs. Admiralty, maritime jurisdiction. What is it? 4 USC Chapter 1 on the flag breaks down that information. I just made a video on a live on it or whatever. All right, so we're gonna stop sharing. Bum, 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 bum. Go Power Rangers. Rest in peace to the one guy who let's just keep it real. We all know what he did to himself, unfortunately. For the memories and a fallen fellow soul. So, all right. Now, so JRD says, this man James is taught us. Now we need to teach and help each other. Anybody want to join me on that note? I'm fixing to write my affidavit, send it off to those who need to be informed. I always tell people, you have to, if you don't find a group, like our group on Telegram is Bad Wolf Unincorporated. Create your own on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, wherever it is. If you can't find a group and join one, or if you don't like how they move, create your own. You're an American. This is your nation. What are you doing with it? You're asleep at the wheel. America is in all of us and in the land. We are asleep at the wheel. Well, not all of us. Some of us are a little sleepy. The foreign corporate U.S. is the passenger. And they got one hand down our pants and the other one on the steering wheel, and we don't know where they're taking us or what they're trying to do. Oh, I think we got an idea. Could be wrong. Could all be innocent. I followed your process for my e-verify. It won't let me go all the way through, said not enough info. Yeah, I have nothing. I mean, I can't. If you put in all the information, you set up your account, it should tell you passport book, passport card, social security number. You click on each one of those tabs, you do a self-check, and that's it. So if it's not going through, you're gonna have to contact their technical division. You may not have put enough in, or they want to verify that you are who you really are, because there are people out there and I hate to say it, but some people are using my information in non-positive ways, unfortunately. Not my people. I know you guys are self-governing, but there are pirates operating in the commerce. Yes. Well, because they're considering their vehicles to be vessels operating on highways, high waterways. Yeah, it says the United States is a corporation. Yeah, you can look that up. You can type in, is the United States a corporation? Or you can type in location of the debtor. I think it's under UCC 9-307. Tells you right there. They're not hiding it, people. The Green Ranger. Yeah. I think that's what it was. They're not hiding this. And for the most part, they really don't care that I'm sharing, because it's not like it's not already out there. I mean, they're not thrilled, I'm sure, but at the same time, it's nothing that's not printed on their very own websites and wherever else. Let's say Miss Pennington. Looking all beautiful. What you got going on? If you are a notary or insurance agent, broker, what can you do other than give it all up? You don't have to give it up. If you're talking about yourself, you were a national and state citizen before you took those positions anyway. It just means that when you're in the moment, operating as a notary or insurance agent, a broker, etc., even a police officer, it means that you are foreign to the United States at that point in time. The moment you're not doing those things, 359, back into being a state citizen in the private. David, yes. There are conflicts of interest. They're able to get away with it because they take their bar oaths first, which then, by what's known as mental reservation and secret evasion of mind, they are able to not have to coincide with their other secondary oaths, like double agents. A double agent doesn't go, oh, well, I swore to the United States of America flag, and so guess I got to break mine with the other country. It's not how it works. Whoever they pledge to first is where it's at. And so they pledge there first, because when we come out, when we're born, we never take it. So technically, legally, how I would argue it, I took my first pledge to, whatever. So for me, I did pledge to the America first. But most of these people have not. Or they renounce it, and then they pledge. Corrupted says, so you can be the all caps name in the state citizen. So legally, by how you asked your question, no. Hear me out. You can never be the all caps name. It is a corporation. It is paper. You can never be the paper unless literally you say, hey, cremate me, turn my ashes into paper, write on my paper, my death paper, my name. At that moment in time, you became in all caps. Now, if you mean a U.S. citizen, you were made a U.S. citizen through the paperwork. You never pledged to be a U.S. citizen. You never took an oath to be a U.S. citizen, at least as far as I know. If you were born in Washington, D.C., then yes, you are a U.S. citizen. If you go to court and you swear in that you're a U.S. citizen, then you are. Yeah, Kent. Yeah, I made that video some time ago. If you didn't see it, but yeah, you can change your status on there. They have rewritten the code after watching my videos. Hi, guys at the DOS. Hi, guys at the Passport Agency. Hi, other guys who watch me. Hi, trolls. Hi, police officers. Hi, federal agents. Nothing but love for you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for keeping the information available for us to use, for us to then be able to find our rights and freedoms, because I know that's what you guys had in mind. So thank you for that. From your favorite neutral party, as a diplomatic agent of Lovetica to the United States Corporation, the United States of America. Thank you, truly. Because you know what? Yeah, they could pull it down. They haven't. What is that? Well, Australia is operating under martial law at the moment. Yeah, if you guys ever want to know what's going on in the world, look at the places where they don't have guns and look at the places where they're under absolute rule. We're unique here. We are very unique. The founding fathers knew this was something that could happen. They put all these things in place. But don't get it twisted. Founding fathers did some dirty stuff too. They're just men. Whether it's a man or a man, mortal beings are fallible. Okay, we can mess up. So they weren't perfect. I've read some of the of their diaries and the writings on them. They weren't perfect either, but they got the Constitution for the United States of America. But you know where they got some of that from too? The Native American people. I think it was either the Hopi or the Cherokee. They pulled a lot of the Constitution and stuff from the Bill of Rights and put it in there. Bet you didn't know that. Did you know there was black presidents in the de jure American government before George Washington? Yep. There's a little book you can get called Black Presidents or Presidents Before George Washington. Hey, Jen Wolf. To claim my fictitious name, use the birth name or adopted name. From Illinois. If you use their stuff, you're operating in their waters with their flag. That's it. If you use their stuff, the birth name was yours. Your parents gave it to them. Okay, so use the birth name, fictitious name, or the adopted name. I wouldn't use your own. You're grown. Use your own name. Start using it everywhere in common law. Slowly start converting it. Change over your electric bill into your name. I don't have it right here. I just I added myself as an authorized user to my own credit cards, and I use my spiritual name, my ecclesiastic name, or my nation name. Use your own. If you have a choice between those, use a fictitious name for whatever you want. But I would create my own. You're grown. You own your own vessel. Rename yourself. Start using it. Start small, or just go right to the courthouse and get a name change. It doesn't take but 30 days. But to say which one of these you should use depends on what capacity. If you like your adopted name, keep it and use it. If you want to use your own, use your own. Yes. Yep. You guys are getting it. You guys are so smart. I like it. Where were you guys when I was growing up? I could have used you guys for support. We could have formed a nation of our own and had land and all that, and a community. Correct, Seeker 47. You are right. You are right. All right, I'm trying to catch up here on the comments. Sorry if I didn't see yours. There's a drop-down box on E-Verify that you click on and gives you an option. Yes. Yep. Each one in the My E-Verify. Okay, so there's two different ones. There's an E-Verify and there's a My E-Verify. The E-Verify is for employers. The My E-Verify is for the entity or living person, if you will. When you set up an account either way, the E-Verify is for business, so then you can run other people's and validate it. You don't really need it, but if you want to get it, you've got a company already, go for it. The My E-Verify is where you do a self-check for you. Once you do that, there'll be a tab. The drop-down window will have three options. You click either one of those. I recommend doing each one and change your status. Miss Pate, I'm struggling with the New York live certificate. If you have the New York certificate of live birth, you do not need to authenticate it. It's in the right jurisdiction. Only if you have a birth certificate. And then New York won't do it. You'll have to send it to the federal level. The county will, but I've heard they're a little fussy. So I would send it off, your birth certificate, off to the federal level to have it done. Registration in Puerto Rico. Talking about the IRS website or at IRS headquarters. They are. I see some of you guys talking amongst yourselves. Yeah, carry on. You guys don't need me. Go ahead. Monica, 100%. Hey, what's going on, Miss Lady? Also looking very beautiful. Is that you're looking at me and your little icon here? Checking me out. Got your eyes on me. All right, let's see what do we got here. You are welcome, Jen. Everything is a trust. Well, there are some things that operate outside of a trust, but in general, the United States is a trust. Most of the things they do are trust. The name they give us is a trust. We might call it a business, commercial entity, corporation. It's a trust. And everything that we're doing are transactions in the commerce. Yes. Do I have a video on micronations? Yes, I talked about them. I also sell. Now, understand, when you create a micronation, if you find somebody else who will recognize your nation after you cover, I think it's 7 things you have to have that create your own micronation. I think the 7th one is be recognized by another nation. If you can find a friend, a family member who wants to create their own nation, you both create a nation, and then you draft a new piece of paper between both of you as a declaration of recognition. That's all you need. You are now recognized by another nation. For those people who don't have a nation, they can go to blacksite32.com, and I send them over the paperwork, and then we, amongst the other nations that have gone through me, hundreds at this point in time, will recognize each other, but I don't control it. I don't own it. It's just if you ever need somebody and other nations to step forward, then we would be able to say, yep, we're all together. They are recognized by us, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, you can recognize other nations yourselves. So it doesn't have to be, like a best friend. If you meet somebody in a group and say, hey, will somebody recognize me? Sure. Do your own thing. Is there a community in Texas? Yeah, there's a community in every state. Every state. I have not seen one where there was not some type of national community. All of this stuff is growing, guys, exponentially because of you guys. Okay, so this is huge. Me and Private have talked before. This is huge information right here. So pay attention. All right. The My E-Verify works. I did a FOIA, FOIA. I made a video on that too. And it came back that I am not to be confirmed as a U.S. citizen. So that means that the official government is saying, hey, all the paperwork we got here says you're not a U.S. citizen. Think about what you can use that for. Okay? Not telling you what to do. I'm giving you the tools. All right? I'm the key maker. I'm just making keys. What you guys use them for is up to you. But I respect that you guys will use them properly. Don't do anything vindictive or that you can't prove a loss, because they will come after you, not me. I'm already outside the pen. They're waiting for people to do dumb stuff with my information. They ultimately don't really care. They're like, cool, but if they don't know how to use it, or they use it wrong, that's when they'll say, yeah, about your this, that, or the other. So just because you don't like an officer public officer or an agent or whoever does not mean that you can just do what you want to do. None of this stuff makes you above the law. I've seen people do some dumb stuff, and I'm like, nope, and they got whacked. If you endanger public safety or you do something dumb, destroy their property, damage one of their citizens, you have to pay for it. Duh. This information is for people who can self-govern. Can you place LLCs in trust? Yeah, you can place an LLC in a trust. A trust can own an LLC. An LLC is a form of a trust. So all that really means is a body. Traditionally, a trust means a private body, but it can be a public body. I hear people talk about this all the time. I haven't done the Form 56. A lot of people want to use it to label somebody as a fiduciary, blah, 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 blah. I haven't personally done it, so I can't say that that's the wisest thing. I've heard a lot of people say they've done it. I'll be honest, I haven't heard anybody to date say that they did it and something bad happened. But I can't tell people to go, this is what I've done, because I have not done it. The W8BEN, yes. The W4V, or the W number 4V, the 1040NR, the 8233, the W8BN-E. Yep, those are files you should look at. Hey, do I have to write a self-explanatory letter to authenticate the birth certificate? No, you can add one with it. They're not going to care. To authenticate, all you got to do is Google state of Virginia or wherever you live, authenticate the birth certificate. Usually it's the Secretary of State. But if you're in California or New York, they don't do it, or they're very fussy on the lower level. So just send it right to the federal government. Then you do that by typing, how do I authenticate my birth certificate on the federal level? Department of State. This is a lot of info. I need the Indians version. No, I think I just jumped in a little too far. I guess I need to comb through your channel and start at the very beginning. Well, everything mentioned here, I mean, that's kind of why I made this video, is to kind of talk about the difference, of what's going on. There's just learn. There's no one perfect video that can describe all of it in a nutshell. It's very hard to put all this together, and it would be such long and boring reading if I made a video. It'd be like 5 hours, because the short version is at one point in time we had an American government by itself right after the 13 colonies. Then everything turned into a corporation by means of Washington, D.C., which was land seceded to the private owners of Washington, D.C. There's 3 of them. And they created, at the time when we're going through war and whatever else, a federal government, a supposed neutral place for the capital to reside. But yet the land was privately owned after we sold it to them. And they started making 14th Amendment U.S. citizens, which was set up for, let me say this correctly, people born in that district were already citizens of that particular state. They never intended to bring in people of color, but when it was deemed as marketable and profitable, they then gave them the 14th Amendment status. So slaves went from being slaves over here to employees through Washington, D.C., and accepting benefits and privileges. Then anybody else who followed years later became the same. So that's the very short version of it. You would tell them that you were on the application, the city, and USA. You were born in that particular city and in the United States of America. Well, it's weird that they authenticated the certificate of live birth. I don't know if you meant birth certificate, but in fact, if you mean the COLB, usually they don't do that because the COLB is supposed to be authenticated on the county level and shouldn't need that. Maybe somebody didn't catch that. Either way, still good. Monica says she would love a community in Virginia. Look on Facebook and see if there's like state national community in Virginia. See if somebody's got one already. If not, make your own. But I get what you're saying. It would be awesome. Maybe in the future when people start getting a little bit more organized. I know there's some people in Texas who offered me land down there. Lots of these national communities are popping up. People are buying raw land and they're letting people move into houses on them. I mean, if I make enough money one day, I'll make one. Create our own government, nation under the United States of America and whatnot. I've always loved to make some like tiny houses, not tiny, but medium to small houses, and be able to have people just live on the community plots. You know, that would be super cool. And then say, hey, we're going to go down to Virginia and meet Monica. You know what I mean? Like, come visit us up here. Let's go over there. The Real ID Act, you already know what that is. From here on out, they are not doing nearly anything that's going to be in our favor. Well, you know what? Like I told people, I'm not mad at, Biden or the people. All they did is they overreached in their power, and they're making people look for these kind of options and remedies. If I was in charge of their, which I know you guys would never want and I wouldn't do, but if I was, like Dave Chappelle always says, I'm not this, but if I was, I would have ran the whole thing 1,000 times better than their best people, period. Because you're overreaching. Even the mob tells you, look, okay, you squeeze, but you don't crush. You crush them, it's dead. It's gone. It's trash. Nothing can be made from it. You squeeze just enough pressure where they want to work for you. They don't want to be free, but you can control them. That's what you do if you're smart. But they overreached. There's a power grab. Never underestimate the greed of the next man. Or as they said in the original Batman movie, never rub another man's rhubarb. Unless you're into that kind of thing, have at it. But remember, if you're good at something, go on OnlyFans and get paid for it. All right. Yes, I recognize this name. I've watched all of your videos and still need to know if I'm writing a self-explanatory letter with the DS-4194 fill out. Nope. The only time you need an explanatory letter and you don't need is with the passport process to help declare your status, but it's not mandatory. The DS-4194, that should be for the authentication, and you don't need an explanatory letter for that. And if you truly watched 800 of my videos, Miss Lady, then I am very impressed because YouTube doesn't show all of the videos unless you specifically open up. You click the view all videos. And then, of course, you belong to the Wolf Pack by joining the subscription service. But hey, if you have, I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, it's a lot of videos, but they're not long. They're not terribly long, most of them. I only started doing the lives because people kept asking me. They wanted to see me do more of this stuff. So hip hop Hip hop hooray. Oh. It just says, where is that video at? So if you're talking about the website I was just reading from, it goes under the name, hold on, Constitutional Commando. Okay, it's got a lot of good information on here. You can contact them. The information I was reading, they claim that it said straight out it can be used. There's no copyright on there. So thank you in advance for that. And that particular segment I was reading from, if you go to their site, it says state citizen, nationality, state citizen case law. I didn't even get to that part. Case laws that support you being a state citizen. They also have a page on here that they copied from Colonel Von Wilson, which is Copper Moonshine Stills, on how to fill out the passport the way I have as well, because me and actually Colonel Von Wilson are good friends, the guy who owns Copper Moonshine Stills. Do not ask him about the information. He only does stills, does not want to be bothered about it, but you can go to his site, scroll all the way down on the left side, and you will see where he's got information on the passport. So I don't know if they know each other or this person has copied and pasted it, but knowing Colonel Von Wilson, he's not going to trip. He wants the information out there. I've talked to him, so he's not going to, bother. When you get to the main constitutionalcommando.com website, and I don't know them, I'm not promoting per se, I'm not getting paid for it, you look on the left-hand side and it says recent posts. And the one I read from today is state citizenship versus U.S. citizenship. He also goes into it about the Social Security scam, the jurisdiction of the United States, the zip code, 14th Amendment slavery, rights versus privileges. So I'm not going to make a video on each and every one of those. Some of them I did on my own. I just kind of wanted to introduce this information because it was a good read. Even I sometimes just like to go back and pretend like I don't know any of this stuff. And, just check it out, reread. That's how I caught my mistakes before. Yes, the wolf, though very rarely, I like to say I'm only wrong 3 times a year. I've used one thus far, and I got 30 days to go. That's how I caught one of my old codes that was wrong. I misread, or they changed. As we move, they move. So you have to stay fresh on these things. So Kent, I'm starting to get to see you a lot more. So thank you. I'm starting to recognize certain people's names. Love your videos. Thank you. The right to travel is freaking scary. I'm not ready to change my plate and get harassed by every cop in Michigan. How do you stop the harassment? Well, I will be honest. I've been doing this for almost 7 to 10 years, somewhere in there. I never even kept track. I just started bit by bit. But I'll be honest. I was nervous at first. It was weird. Every once in a while, even for me, years later, it's still weird. I've only been bothered twice and had both of them things gone away with. Anything that stuck was because they decided to refuse constitutional law, and they were like, "Well, we're just going to put this in a pending status and leave it alone." Which eventually then it just all drops off and goes away. But it is weird canceling all of the contracts with them. It is weird creating your own private plate or getting one from another country or getting a Z plate or getting one from another nation or governmental entity and then putting it on your vehicle. Now, keep in mind, by law, they cannot pull you over because you have a private or foreign plate. They can't. They can, if they overstep, they've waived their state immunity, because when they ask you, well, they're supposed to ask you, first thing they're supposed to say, what's your nationality? What's your status? I'm a foreign national. I'm a diplomat of a private nation or a micronation. I'm a state citizen. That's what my plates say, state citizen. United States of America, Republic. Whatever it is, you create it. You create a trust. You put your car in there. You send out your affidavits to all the heads of the chief of police and whoever else so they can update your record. And you do it. They cannot pull you over because you have a private plate solely. What they will do is if you're speeding, they will use that to then do what's known as a escalating the stop. That's what they call it. Yes, I do have friends and family who are cops. Yes, they do tell me stuff, and I tell them stuff too. I've done this process for cops, agents, federal, some other various people in different echelons of life and status across the board. I've done it. Cops were in seminars, identified themselves. They said they checked out the information for themselves. They talked to their chief of police, and it was confirmed. But what they said is that the person has to do it right. They said if a person like me is pulled over for whatever reason and I start talking the way I know how to talk, their chief of police told them, let them go. They're like, you don't want the headache. You don't want to be sued. They have the right to do it. As long as everything checks out, your accounts have all been closed. But if you're half stepping, they're going to whack you. They said those people are the sovereign citizens because they're operating as both, and there's no such thing as both. So, but yeah, it's not for everybody. So until you're ready, or if you're ever ready, you can go your whole life and never do it. But if you decide to one day, watch all the videos, get all the information, get the files. You can, there's a video on Black Site 32, Right to Travel by Jackie Fig. God rest her soul. She was the first one that I seen break down all this information on specifically right to travel. So I would check out that video, and I got free files on it. Download those. I got a pack of files on it. You can buy those. Jeff, the FOIA. I've been hearing people say 30 days, but then I've heard people say 4 months. So, yeah, anywhere in between there. Miss Pennington, I love that one you did for the nonprofit. Definitely. Yes, yes. Oh, there's fire information. I be dropping gems in there. Yes. If you don't want somebody to use your or your child's tax stuff, the form for the 15227 and getting the PIN done will prevent people from using it. The Express Trust, I'll be honest, I have no problem showing my weaknesses because either you turn it to a strength or you have somebody who has the strength for you. I do not go into the trust a whole lot. I know probably only like 40%. So either I recommend a guy by the name of Fearless Floyd, which I think I've seen him in the comments. So thank you for watching, Floyd. He's got a channel called The Fearless Floyd Show on YouTube. Check him out for the trust stuff. Or another one who's a cousin of mine. He's got a channel called Knowledge Well Media. You can check out him for trusts. Whatever experiences you guys have with these people, that's between you and them, their friends and family. But they do their own thing. I do my own thing, and it's just good business. If you do go to Knowledge Well, though, you can mention that the Wolf sent you. And if you do decide you want to procure any of his services, he will discount it. But that's all between you guys. Lost in translation. Hey, what's going on? With the podcast. Yes, yes. I don't know if you're talking to me on this one or somebody else, but I did not do the 1099-A process. I was planning on it way back when, and I got I just didn't do that. But yeah, If you do the A process the correct way per the IRS, you can get up to 30% back for up to 3 years towards any place where you are the creditor. In other words, any place where you've sent money. So thank you, Dell. Thank you, Ghost. Yeah, with the Form 56. No, I have not done that. I have not met anybody personally and vetted their information that they did the Form 56 and then now they're getting their stuff paid. But if somebody out there has done this and they've got proof, let me know. I will make a live on it. If you got stuff that you don't want to share, we can just talk about things around it and go from there. But I haven't met anybody who's showed me proof. I'm from the show me state, so I'm not doing nothing unless somebody can say, I've done it. Here it is. I've blacked out my personal information. Bang. Thank you guys as well. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably go for another 15 minutes. I didn't realize it was almost 10 o'clock my time here. I'm going to unwind, grab some grub, and I don't know, might step out for a beverage. You know what I mean? Special private. I think it would be a good idea to FOIA the state government as well as find evidence. Yeah. Yep. I think I talked about FOIA. I made a video where I said FOIA everything you can get your hands on. Set it and forget it. See what all they got on you. You have that right. Monica, that's one of the reasons why I'm making these videos is not only for my son and, for as a documentary of stuff I've done growing up so he can see what his father has done with his energy, before, during, and whatever. And then also for future generations, as long as there is a YouTube. Make the 5-hour video. That would be a first. I think my record is 3 hours, I think. What people have been asking me to do, and you guys let me know if you guys really want me to do this. Like I said, let me know if you think it's a good idea. People have been asking me to do like workshops, where like we cover certain things. People can like a set number of people, say up to like 100 people, or whatever. We talk about how would I go through court? How did I go through court? Or what do you call them? Like a Zoom seminar where like, I don't know, $50 or $100 a person. And, everybody who's in there gets to ask questions for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And we cover things from like health and court cases. You can ask more in-depth questions because obviously these lives are just a general one where I can kind of skim through what you're saying, but I can't get to everything. So let me know if you guys think that's something that would be fire to do. I might even just start it off and say this first one's about like court, run through those things or whatever. I don't know. Do I keep a fee schedule in my car? Yes. Yep. I keep it in my travel binder. The one thing I will say, the last time I was messed with X amount of time ago was the one mistake I had is that I had something with my address on it. And so they wanted to use that as proof to be able to draw me into their system, because until they can 100% identify you, okay, then they're going to use whatever they can do. Until they identify you, they can't remove you from the road. They can't do anything. So the only mistakes I made at that point in time was that I had something with my old address on it. And I hadn't yet had a private ID. And so they just used the identifier that I had on me, which was the passport card. But when they ran it, it said do not detain. But this guy wanted to be a prick. So what he did was he held me there way longer than what I should have been. Everything got settled, but it was, here's some tickets because he found my address. So don't have your address on your person. And if you're going to use your passport card, they should respect the do not detain when it comes up. But you can also have a private ID, which in the future, though I will have my private ID to my nation, I will have the passport as a backup in case they decide they want to not pay attention to that and overstep. Then I'll use that. Otherwise, private ID, private plates, not a U.S. citizen, state citizen operating privately, or nation of Levitica, national, diplomat, no treaty with the private corporation of legal enforcement officers, per my affidavit to the Secretary of my state and the state of Huzzah. Yeah, you can have a fee schedule for anything in your paperwork. Everything that they do are contracts and offers. You guys just haven't been contracting and offering because a lot of you guys are like, well, I'm scared they won't give me the benefit. Then you don't need their benefit. I wouldn't use it. Don't tread on me. Yes. I have a farm plate and they don't screw with me. Yes. Well done, Clint. Yep. If you look at your passport book, in the beginning of it, the wording will say citizen and then /national. So to all those monkey face gurus out there and trolls who say this isn't a thing, they don't have a passport apparently. Because if you open up your passport, it says right in the beginning of the book in the Secretary of State's declaration. And if you look on the back of the passport card, it says this is used for land, sea, and air travel. Well, how do you travel if you're just on land? By horse, skateboard? I think it's by vehicle. Remember, there you go. Lies and sense for lies. Yeah, I'm sure you're good. I've seen a video and it sucks because I know this person used my info. They literally, I won't say exactly what they did, but they were speeding and they still got a ticket and pulled out of their car because you're endangering public safety. And if you're doing that, that will always trump your status. They have a right, even you as a citizen, a state citizen, have more power than police officers when doing a state citizen's arrest. Well, Albert, they were born, even cops were born nationals first. And then they might have taken their oaths and whatever else. So in the moment that that person is a officer, it is not a conflict of interest. They're doing their job as a foreign agent to a foreign state. And they're just doing business to you or whoever else who are also in that moment operating as a foreign person to the United States of America by legal standards, by their own books, the Black Laws Dictionary, by their own manuals, the Police Misconduct Book. People ask how I know this. Well, I've got cops who are friends. I buy their books. I buy the lawyers' books. I read them because I'm bored. I don't have a good social life. So he's not actually you can only operate one at a time. So it's not a conflict of interest for them. But let's say like somebody in a court scenario where they took an oath to protect the people and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, but they're secretly or privately operating in their courtrooms as a bar member for the American/British Accreditation Registry. that would be a conflict of interest. But legally, they're able to do it because they pledge to a jurisdiction first. And when you go into the courtrooms, they're operating it privately as the same. But we think they're in their proper office, is what I will say. Yeah, just kind of covered that a little bit. No, I'm not familiar with him. Yusufel, no, I've never met him. I knew him when he had his original YouTube, and then they shut that one down for whatever reasons. I've heard him mention me a couple times. Sometimes good, sometimes eh. I don't really care. I've got nothing against him. I like some of his knowledge. I think he's awfully grumpy a lot, but I get it because he gets a lot of people who, for in his words, ask dumb questions. And with the longer you do this, it's harder to not take the beginner seriously because you've heard the same questions, and you feel like they're not watching your videos. That's why I tell people, watch as many of my videos as you can before asking me questions. If you want to ask me, here's what he should do, and he doesn't, I expose myself a little bit this way. I don't think he does, other than through his lives. Do a consultation. You can ask me all the stupid questions you want. I don't think any question is stupid, but what I'm really trying to say is that if you're a beginner and you want me to step you through it, I have no problems with that as long as you're paying me for my time. But in emails, I'm at the point where I'm not answering nearly as many because a lot of people aren't watching the videos and I don't get paid for them. And answering 200 emails a day on average gets really old really quick. I still maintain a nice composure. I probably only get about 4 or 5 trolls a week, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's not that bad because I tell them right in the videos, I will not respond. If your question is long, it's not getting answered. If it's 1 or 2, I'll probably answer it. Don't take it personal. I've just got too many, and I can't baby step somebody every day of my life. Keep seeing the same names pop up. You know what I mean? And then you want me to step you through. I can't do it for everybody. So yeah, I know of him. He knows who I am. We've got no beef or animosity, at least not from my direction. I think he's a good dude. He does his research. Just very grumpy. Yeah, Knowledge Well Media, Monica. Most of the things, yeah, they try to limit it. I don't know what the federal courts have to say. I know that if you're going to file a case against any of them, you should probably put it together under a year. I think the statutes say something like only a year. I think most of them, that's how they roll. The link to the Telegram group, I will give it to you in 3 seconds. 1, 2. I had it running the whole time. That's why I say, let's see what we got. Hip hop. Oh yeah. People have been asking me to make another live from make a live from the Batcave. It's awfully dark down there, so it might not be a very, lit. But yeah, I'll do it. Heck yeah, 5 hours. You guys would really watch a video if I made it for 5 hours on this stuff? Really? I don't even know if I have enough attention span to I mean, I could do it, but I very rarely watch a video over 2 hours or 3 hours on YouTube. But I don't know if you guys are saying, you'd watch it. Maybe I'd do it. Maybe one or something. I don't know about all the time. If you heard they don't have private plates, then they're probably getting bothered if they go out of their house with no plates on. I guarantee you, in any state, they're getting pulled over and bothered, because police, all they have to do is say, we thought you were just a citizen and you don't have any plates, and we thought maybe somebody stole your plates. As a act of service to the community, that's why we pulled you over. I highly doubt. No. I mean, do some people do that? Sure. I wouldn't. The people I know, the real guru, and I don't call them gurus. How about this? The real nationals or state citizens who were doing this before me, who some of them reached out to me to, teach me some of this. They have, I don't even know how I should say this. I don't even know if I should say this. I'll tell you this, and I don't know how they did it, but they have special plates that were issued privately. Now, I know some DMVs will do this. I've heard of it. I haven't tried myself because I don't need them. But the high rollers that have reached out to me, that have given me some of this information, they have legitimate plates that are private. Some of them have plates that are original, back to the first plates that were ever issued, which, almost like a land patent, supersede certain things. Hip hop, no. Well, let me say this correctly. If you do the passport the proper way, as we show, there's no address to pop up, because on the permanent address section, you put rural-free delivery. There's nothing illegal about that, because it actually says it in the small, tiny brown writing that you can use rural-free delivery as your permanent address. So, no, there's no address that comes up. Some cops will lie and say, oh, their system can't run these. You need to give them a driver's license, which is a lie. The passport is 100% compliant in all systems. It has to be. They're the ones with the private bull stuff. So if you do it the right way, no, nothing pops up. It literally says, do not detain. Their screen flashes, constitutional citizen, unlimited gun rights, blah, 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 blah. No cop will show you that, or is supposed to show you that. But yeah, I know people firsthand who have seen it. There's actually, they don't show it in his video, but there's a guy, a brother by the name of Taquan X. He was pulled over, and a lot of this information was confirmed by the officer in the video. Brian Faulkner says, discharge over $100,000 in debt. Will be more than happy to show you. Hey, Brian, hit me up. Let's talk. We can, I would not mind learning your method. Hit me up on blacksite32.com. We can talk, vet the information, make sure everything's good. And, maybe we'll do a live, or maybe we'll do something in the wolf pack in the private area, whatever. Or if you, don't want it out there like that, we'll work on that too. I do keep some people's information private. If you guys tell me you don't want your name out there, or how you obtain the information, don't do anything illegal. We don't do that here. All right. Yep. Brian putting in work. Yeah, see, the whole thing is a lot of people out there know a lot of these. Oh, thank you. I would like to say I'm always positive and helpful. Some people don't think so, but I would say 90% of the time I am, because it's crappy situations are always going to be there. Nobody promised us a smooth life. We were pulled out of the box of souls, dropped off on earth. So my mom always told me before she passed, God rest her soul, that days are going to go up and down. Good are not always promised, neither are bad. She goes, figure it out. She's like, change what you can change, and the rest, the hell with it. But figure it out. Each one of us have survived through things. My hand is my witness. Each one of us have survived things that we at one point in time said, we don't think we're going to make it. I can't do it. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And yet here we are. So you guys got this. Got this. If they didn't take the W8BN, give them the W number 4V. W4V. If they don't want to honor that, tell them politely that if they do not research the information, you will contact all the necessary federal agents, including the IRS, to do an investigation as to why they are denying you. You then tell them, per the law, you are to provide me with a written response for legal reasons. Tell them this is not a threat. I'm here neutral. I'm here as a private natural person, and I must have these things according to the law. I'm not looking to do a lawsuit at this point in time. I'm not trying to jeopardize what we have going on. This is just business, so please do not take it personal. Then if they don't want to work with you, you contact the federal government, equal opportunity employer, the IRS, the state secretary, and the attorney general, and let them know what's going on. Wolf, love your copper cup. This one I got from a local distillery here called Great Lakes, but you can get the exact same one for cheaper. No offense, Great Lakes. Love you guys. On Amazon. At the end of the video, there will be a link you can use as Amazon link to go and shop for the copper cups. I always try to put water in here and let it sit. I like cold water, but warm water or room temperature water out of a copper cup is very beneficial for health reasons. But as always, make sure you talk to your trained and licensed people in said areas before doing anything. This is not advice. I have criminal court. That is definitely one I would not talk about in the public. That would be more of a consultation. I do have some files that can be purchased on Black Site 32. We would do that on the private side. That's one of the reasons why they call this, what we're doing now, the public. If everybody can see it, this is public. They don't want everything being talked about in the public. It's bad business. So a lot of this we can share, but not everything. Yes, Clint is also right. That's kind of where I was leading towards the end, because it's your declaration. They have no right to be able to tell you legal advice, especially without providing you with the correct statutes and codes and positive law that pertains to that. Either way is good to operate. You can operate either way. It just depends on what you want to do. I looked at the Moors and being a Moor, and even our Moor heritage. Most people have it, whether they know it or not. But for me, I chose to just be a national underneath the Constitution of the United States of America, but primarily operate as a national of Lovitica, which is my own micronation. You just have to figure out how you want to move. None of them are perfect, except for maybe if you do your own thing. But there's good and bads to all of them. You can operate from more than one. Yeah, I've watched Rob Ryder. He's got definitely some good information over there as well. All right. Well, Brian, if you have a Telegram group or a Facebook group, or you feel ever so brave to share your email, go ahead and share it. And this goes for everybody. If you guys have a group, I'm not that way. I am not about keeping this stuff private. I'm not about, you guys can't promote what you got going on. I mean, I don't, nothing adult, we'll say. But if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a Telegram group, you want people to find you, go ahead and post it. You can talk amongst yourselves in the group. It doesn't bother me. I'm not here like I need all the money and, you can't do that stuff here. I was blocked by a guy teaching this for asking if he could provide the names of anyone who sees their trust controls that in question. I'm still learning some of what I think you're asking about. I will tell you this. I've been approached by people who claim to have access to do these things and to know more about that kind of stuff. But usually they want you to sign an NDA, non-compete, non-disclosure, and they're forbidden by either law or the contract to talk about it. So I will be honest, I have not signed those things, because if I did, I couldn't tell you guys what I've been trying to find on my own. But could I be well off at this point in time by various offers I've been made? Yes. And maybe I'll do that when I get a little older and I retire from doing this as much, because I will have put out all the information I want to share. But that won't be for a while. So you guys got me for a whole lot longer, as long as you guys keep supporting me and hitting those likes. Where are my likes? Get those likes up. Oh, man, we share. That's what wolves do, bro. That's why I call everybody a wolf. If I eat, you eat. If you eat, I eat. You know what I mean? We share. If we only have between us 2 pounds of meat and, we're wolves, you get a pound, I'll get a pound, or we'll put it all together and make some soup and put some leaves or whatever we got to do in it to make it happen. You know what I mean? That's how I get down. Baker, I wish the guy I talked to, and this is going to sound bad, I don't have his contact information. Ever since my stuff started taking off, I got a lot of numbers. I got a lot of emails. He never told me how he was able to do it. He just said that there is a way to do it through the DMV and through certain other channels, which if I had to guess, I would say he probably either talked to the head of the DMV or the Attorney General, the Secretary of State. I don't know how he did it, but I was very eager to get to the passport information from him. He's probably still watching my show. So if you're still out there watching my show, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from anybody with good secrets and goodies. That's what I do. That's why I didn't take the payoff when people were like, hey, I literally had a guy tell me, if you stop your show, I will pay you, let's just say a lot, to only work for me. And I'll tell you this, I countered with, that's not enough money. Nothing less than $10 million is going to get me to stop doing what I'm doing. Come up with $10 million. I'm like, well, it was good talking to you guys. I mean, for real. I mean, if I'm going to stop doing what I love, it's going to have to be really good retirement money, not okay money. Um, 8 weeks, 2 months, so 60 days. Yeah, right now, depending on what zone, I think there's 4 or 5 zones. And whatever zone you're in, apparently then, 2 months. So within the next 2 weeks, you should, 2 to maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I would guess, you should be getting your book first and then your card about a week later. Yeah, we will go into some more of that at different times. Yes, rule free delivery on the passport. Yeah, it say right on the application. It says RFD. You can use it. Child support. Check out blacksite32.com. There you might find some interesting and rather low cost educational materials that you can use for your learning pleasure. We don't make any guarantees, but we do provide stuff that you can use to enhance the current level of information that you now know. Nobody can guarantee anybody can get anything. Even I, master of the passports, which it's nice to hear other gurus saying that about me, cannot even guarantee you can get a passport nor a 5-star. Nobody can guarantee that. And we now know what amongst our community, what all that stuff means and whatever else. Yes, you can use the PO box on the DS11, but you can't use it on both places. If I remember reading it correctly, it's been a while, but you can't have a post office box for your mailing address and for your permanent address. They have to be different. Yeah, I've heard of him. I still to this day watch some of his stuff. Yep, I've discharged medical, and then I've discharged some other stuff, and I think it's right around 100 and probably about 100 grand in discharging. That's why I know what I'm talking about. For what you're talking about here and people with child support, we can do consultation, and there are potentially educational options that have been given to me that may help certain individuals. No promises, but it will probably be worth your time. Child support is illegal under common law, but they're operating from maritime law, and it's not illegal there if you've entered into their jurisdiction. Dwayne X, what's up? I ain't seen your name pop up in a while. What it do? Thank you for the support. Yeah, I try to add a little education. I know you guys come here for the main stuff, but I also try to add in a little positivity, a little health, a little funny, a little, serious, and bring it all together. Yeah, Sons of Batman. Yes, I am a huge Batman fan. So I will do a video shoot from the Bat Cave. It'll happen. I'll try to get one in. This was going to be my last live until after New Year's, but maybe I might do one more. I've got a new friend/client who is fresh into this, and she's like Susie Homemaker. I'm stepping her through with this, and we're gonna do a live or something like that next week, which right now it's 12/13. Should be, if she's good, next week Tuesday, same time, where she's going to talk about her experience and getting started and whatever else. So that video is going to be about those people who, what it was like for them to get started. So, because certain people can reach a certain demographic, whether it's age, range, color, orientation. So I'm going to open up the floor a little bit after bringing her in, and then we're going to focus on what it was like for as many people as I can get to come onto the show and talk about what it was like doing this for the first time. So we're gonna reverse engineer this because I was 9 when I got into this. So for me, I don't remember really my first experiences for the most part. I mean I do, but it's nobody really wants to hear that. People want to hear like I'm grown, I'm mature. What brought you into this stuff? Because this is not normal stuff. And yes, I guarantee you 90% of you have heard you're crazy for either listening to me or this stuff or people like me or this kind of information. But what's always funny is then when I talk to their bosses who know what's going on, they're like, we need to speak privately about this. That's why a judge asked me to become one of them. Literally in the middle of the court, he asked me if I would join their side. Must be a reason why everybody keeps trying to buy me out. Kia says W-4T is what I use for my employer. The W-4T is the termination of the W-4. We have used that one. I haven't been in the work industry for X amount of time, but I've referenced that to people. They have used it. They have, some of them, most of them have not. Actually, you know what? None of them have followed up with me what transpired. They just said it squashed the W-4. So I don't know if that means they stopped asking them for taxes or if they said you have to use a different file. A lot of people out there don't follow up with me when they use certain things that I know about that I may not have personally done because I don't have the ends to do it. Yes, by law they are supposed to. These companies, they don't know that they can get in serious trouble for not filing your claim. What was the website you got the American National ID, which can be used for the passport processing? I don't know. There's no official national ID. The one I made was I made one. Well, actually, one I've got my own machine right now, so I don't need them. But one of the one that I do like, and I'll put it up for you. I'm not necessarily promoting them. I'm not getting paid, but I'll share it with you guys. This one was pretty good. Where is it? Right here. So this one looked pretty good to me. There we go. Okay, so here, what pricing? Was it pricing? So you can get these. Oh, here we go. Okay, so you can get these done. You can encode a barcode, a mag stripe, a QR code. You can have an exposed chip. That's fire. Holographic overlay. Contactless RFID. I don't know if you can mix and match all of them, but man, let me tell you, this is, even though I can make my own, I might look into getting one from them just to have another one. But there is no official national ID. You can get like the world passport, which is cool. But even that's not officially taken all around the world. They don't want to issue an official national ID because they know we're going to be doing exactly what we're doing. So they leave it up to you to kind of have a struggle hard time, if you will, by making your own. Can you get your whole thing expunged? Yep. I made a video on that. Copper cups kill bacteria and healthy minerals for supply minerals for body. Yes, yeah, so your body does use the bits of copper that you're drinking from it and the ions from it. That's why in the old days, when copper pennies were real copper, they would throw copper coins into wells to purify them. How is a W-4 form and the WME? Yes, the W-4V is more so for the living natural state citizen. The W-8BN is for foreign nationals. So it just depends on how you want to call yourself. But yeah, you can use either. Just some places don't like the W-8BN because then they are looked at as hiring a foreign national. How would I go about life operating as a truck driver while being an American national once status change? You already have your status. I tell people this a million cajillion times. You already have your status. You were born a national first. You were first born a state citizen. Like if you're from Wisconsin, you're Wisconsinite. New York is a New Yorker. You had that first. Then you became under the several states, meaning all of the states together under the Constitution of the United States of America. And that made you a state citizen, aka a national or a national of the United States of America. You then got your birth certificate and your social security card, and that converted you into, by fraud ish, into a U.S. citizen, 14th Amendment. So you already have your status. But the only thing is that in your truck as an operator, over the road operator, as far as we've been able to find, you cannot use the public roads to generate income. Keywords I'm using here. We're working on it, see if we can find the workaround. But you can't do that because you're operating in the public. You are for commerce and profit, for profit and income, keywords here. So you can't do that with your truck, but you can do it with your private vehicle should you decide. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. See, there's lots of ways to move. Yeah. Like I said, if I know it, I got you guys. If it's something I can't put in the public, that's, there's some things that only, man, I can't even begin to say. But a majority of it, if I can't say it here, we can do a private consultation. But I'm putting out probably 93% of what I know, and that is no problem sharing it in the public because it's already out there. You can just search. Thank you, Clint. A lot of people go, Wolf, well, why can't you share everything? Okay, let's cut the camera. You guys know these various people and corporations and agents already watch my stuff. It's already been proven. It's nothing new. It's been that way since I was 19 years old. Okay. Do you think I'm stupid and going to jeopardize something that they might say, well, that's considered this level of whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hell no, I ain't doing it for nobody. I am not. No, I'm not putting not me and my family in jeopardy. I'm not putting my channel in jeopardy. I'm not putting you guys in jeopardy. Nah. But everything else, we'll share it, especially if it's out there and you guys just haven't seen it or don't know where to look for it. This history is why you're claiming the Union Republic 100%. Knowledge is power. I could easily do 5. Okay, man, that's a whole class. I might, man. Nah. All right. Well, I will definitely consider doing a longer live because of you guys and your support. Like I said, I keep things honest. I now have enough extra to be able to, do these longer StreamYards and Zooms and whatever else. So thank you. Like I said, I'm not rich at all. Some of you guys watching this right now are making way more money than I'm making or that I've ever made. And until YouTube starts paying me a whole lot more than that, what little bit they're giving me. Yeah. So, but because of you guys, like I said, I have been able to get these little extra toys. So I will improve with all the support I get from you guys. So I'm just running it back. I'm buying more books. Maybe I would have more money if I didn't buy books. But if you don't buy books, how are you going to get this knowledge? All right. So Joshua says, I've discharged car and criminal matters. So I'm telling you guys, these things can happen. There's always a way to do it. Always. I don't care what they tell you. Across the board. Unless you kill somebody, do the big criminal stuff, there's always a situation. But the biggest, as they say in the old days, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It is better to just self-govern, stay out of their jurisdictions, stay out of their way, self-govern, do you. Yeah, Matthew, just hit Black Site 32. You hit the payment, and then you email me with the confirmation code, screen capture it, whatever. And then when you email me, just say, hey, just hit the consultation fee when you have available. Typically, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoons, Friday, Saturday is kind of family time. Sunday is available. That's usually my recharge day and / family day. So I will do some in the afternoon, only if you go to the website. It is going to be more expensive. I'm still not the most expensive out there, because it's it's the weekend. I should be resting, but if somebody really wants to talk, I got some time in the afternoon. We can do it. Can you share your Telegram group and any other group you have? Thank you. All right, Venus, right there. That's the main Telegram group. And then obviously the website, Black Site 32. My other YouTube channel is Bad Wolf Media Channel. I'm also on Patreon. I don't have any videos up, but if you want to support me there instead of the YouTube channel, you can do that. It's just James C. Lovett. Like I said, I don't hide anything. People are like, oh, that's not your real name. Yeah, it is. I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not hiding. My stuff looks just like everybody else's. I'm not an angel. Never claimed to be. I'm more or less like the man in black, but you don't have to do everything horrible in the world to wear black. Some of the nicest people in my family or other people's families I've ever met were called the black sheep. You know what I mean? Not everybody sees you as black, and black doesn't mean bad or dark. It's the absence of light. And the universe, whether you want to say it was God or the grand architect or whatever, the grand consciousness, used the black as a chalkboard to create the universe. If you believe in that. If not, still yet, the black space is the chalkboard for the universe. Whatever. All right, thanks, hip hop. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing like a private Zoom or whatever else. What I'm gonna do, I guess I can mention it here. Be looking for this to come. I'm gonna put like Zoom consultation or Zoom seminar as a tab on blacksite32.com. And anybody who wants to be in there, I have a link where you'll be able to specifically pay for that particular class. I'll have the dates of what I'm going to do on those times, and we'll just do it kind of like that. So if people want to see that, yeah, just let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'm here to help you guys, me, and bring you guys what I got. So if you guys think that's a good idea, just put it in the comments. But I'm thinking about doing that and just see how it rolls. Can you get your fingerprints removed from the database? They will probably tell you no, but you can send in a very stern letter. I've got a sample version of one called the revocation of signature that covers that kind of thing. So, but are they supposed to do it? Yes. And if you find out in the future they still have them because they are not their property, you can sue them. Yes, Monica, I see what you're doing there. For those who know. Yeah, I won't go into all of it here, just because it's the public platform. All right. Well, I see, even though I said I was going to be done at 10, it is 10:30. So I'm going to wrap it up. Once again, I apologize for not being able to get to all of you guys. I was trying to keep up, but I just can't do it. What is in an NDA? I'll answer the last couple here just because I scrolled down and seen them. The NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. I've signed many of these in my days with other companies. I'm now no longer underneath the non-disclosure agreements. What they are is they're basically saying that under penalty of perjury, you are willing to go to jail or prison, or you have to pay a fine, or both. If you deal with ones with the government, which is one of the reasons why I didn't go into intelligence and other governmental military agencies, is because when you sign that, you cannot do what I'm doing. I knew that if I went into those things, I could not do what I'm doing. I can do it now because this is just education and entertainment. And I don't have any credentials to say that this is all whatever. These are just my thoughts. They can't say or do too much about that. But if you've got the credentials and you're not on your DOB or your deathbed, okay, then you're going to have some situations because you're playing with them and you've signed disclosure, you signed a contract. And some of them, from what I've heard from various friends in various places, if you sign a contract with them, you better be ready to go to court and or other, because they take it very seriously because you signed an agreement. You became their property. Property can't do stuff. But the national, private state citizen, dignitary and protected guest of the United States of America, they can share their experiences. So, but nothing I've disclosed here or any of my stuff has anything to do with protected whatever. But if you do get into some of these groups, they will make you sign them. You know, what's one of the guys? He passed away, but you can look up a guy on YouTube named Phil Schneider. He talks about, it's not this stuff, but he talks about like aliens and things he claims that he's seen and done. And he talks about having signed certain agreements. So don't know if it's just education. I'll let you guys make your own decision on that. But if what he says is true, God bless him for bringing that information to us. If not, then it's just good entertainment. Either way, I was educated. So how do I get control over this? Says the trust. That is a guarded secret. That's kind of what we were talking about, that there are some groups out there who do have that information, and they all sign non-disclosure agreements. And I didn't go into it. So I would be careful on doing that and who you get the information from. But yeah, according to one judge, I will say, and I quote, he said, "We don't know why you guys come to us for this information," meaning accessing the trust, doing the bankruptcy stuff. He goes, "Because all of that stuff you guys can do." So these elite people, they don't know why we're struggling with this stuff, because yeah, there's no book on it. They were given this stuff directly from the government on how to do certain things. So these state ofs and whatever, they know how to move. They know how to do these things. But here's the thing. They will be out of business if we all learn how to do these things. But here's the only time where you might hear me say I'm not on their side, but I get it. All right. This is the only time you're going to hear me probably say something where doesn't sound quite like the bad wolf. I keep everything real with you guys. If everybody knew how to perfectly, easily discharge all of their debts and how to access certain bonds, certain security instruments, certain accounts, we'll just say, who's going to want to work? Sorry, this is one of the few times I put on my government hat. Mask down. Who's going to want to work? Not the guy at the gas station who pumps your gas, not the guy who brings the gas there, not the guy who brings your food to the grocery store. Think about how you and your kids are going to go to the grocery store and there's no food on the shelves. Look what happened with the CVD 19er. How much food was there? People lost their minds and toilet paper was gone for no good reason. Stock up. Shelves. Well, let me say this. After having spent some time over in Europe, I learned to get a bidet. I have 2 bidets for the 2 bathrooms in my house. It's a water cleaning system where you don't have to use toilet paper unless there's just a little left. All right. I wasn't particularly worried about it, about no toilet paper. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. I see people are laughing. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to want to work the Tartarian Free Energy Society. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there. Shapeshifters are real. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So yes, all debts are prepaid, but they make us pay them. Or, it's not a good word to say pay, but you get what I'm saying. Discharge, credit and debit. Nobody's going to want to work if everybody knows how to access all these things. But it's my belief that one day we will get there, but we won't get there until we have AI up and running, good, machines that can do the work for the living. And then the only things that are going to be around will be people doing artistry stuff. It'll be a thing to, can you handcraft a chair with actual real leather? Oh, can you make a painting with an actual paintbrush without a computer or AI? I can. Whoa, that's a paid talent. That's how the world will be. We won't need this. It'll first start by them getting rid of paper money and bringing in the digital money, which right now they're working on the CBDC, central bank digital currency. Paper money will go away. Everything will be digitized. They'll know exactly what you got, where you got it, who you gave it to, what their history is, all that stuff. But for now, if everybody knew how to do all of the things, nobody's going to want to work. There's not going to be any food, and that's a major problem. So just as much as we don't want the system to collapse, they don't want the system to collapse. They got a taste of that through the CVD 19er, and they're like, oh, yeah, we might have overstepped here a little bit, and okay, because they're greedy. They want to control us more, but then they've seen the system starting to shut down. And when they couldn't get their food, when they couldn't go out and play, when they couldn't go to their favorite bars, when they couldn't go out and see their shows, they weren't happy either. So we're in a weird balance until we can get to a different place. So that is it, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We are going to walk out. Let's see, with maybe some background music. Will it work here? So you guys, I just want to let you guys once again know, thank you for supporting the Bad Wolf. It has been a huge helping to ease everything. Me trying to read books, work full time, be a single father. It's amazing. And like I said, that's why it seems like it's something new and good that can help ease your lives. Because I know a lot of you guys work and you don't have time to read countless books like these 3 Black Laws Dictionary. Now that I do, I can go through and bring you just the good stuff that you guys need. So to me, everybody out in the audience with a soul is a God. So thank you, fellow gods. Thank you. Not the God, there's only one of those, but fellow gods. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves. Keep getting this information. Have a great holiday. I will probably be bringing you guys 2 more lives before the new year. So I wish you guys a happy new year in the next ones. I'm going to take a break for about a month, maybe 2, to learn some more stuff. But trust me, we're going to be hitting the ground with fire. We're going to be hitting the ground running. We're going to hit the ground hard. We're going to be going into things like how to go after certain entities in federal court. We're going to wrap up the passport process with some additional information that we've learned recently. We're going to be going into maybe a little bit deeper into some trusts. We're going to be looking at some other processes that we have vetted. So stay tuned. I will leave you with this. I know there's a lot of people out there who they're excited and you're supporting me, so thank you. You want to bring a lot of people with you. I tell you, get yours first, share a little bit of the information, but don't lose sleep on trying to bring people with you, because just like in the old Kung Fu movies, the master allows the students to come to them. You don't go looking for students as a master. All right, so 1 or 2 last things. What do I think about lawyers? I think there's some nicer ones, but they will never fully help you because of their oath of office to the bar. They can't. They'd be breaking their oath and they could be disbarred. I know there's a difference between the ones out there who are licensed and the ones who aren't. So Jared says, aloha, Wolf. Aloha. You guys take care. I'm out. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for helping me make this happen. Have a great night. Get some sleep. Bad Wolf's out. Woo!